Well, the nation's capital, meantime, preparing for the first funeral for a former president since the death of George H.W. Bush back in 2018. Thousands of people are expected to pay their respects as Carter returns to Washington one last time. The official state funeral will take place at National Cathedral, with President Biden expected to deliver one of the eulogies. And News Nation's Kelly Meyer continues our coverage now live from the White House. Kelly, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, the longest living president in U.S. history will have 8 days of national remembrance events, as we just saw our colleague Elizabeth Pran there in Georgia, where they will begin and then continue on here to Washington, D.C., where we are learning from a White House official that the official state funeral here in Washington, D.C. will take place on January 9th. And that is the day that President Biden, in a proclamation late last night, announced that that would be a national day of mourning, he says. He also has said, as you mentioned, Nichole, to give a eulogy at the funeral along with Carter's grandson, Jason Carter. Eulogies will also be read from two people who have already passed, former President Gerald Ford and former Vice President Walter Mondale. Those will be read by their sons. He is also expected to lie in state at the U.S. Capitol, as presidents have done going back to Abraham Lincoln. And then, of course, he will be brought back to Georgia after the service for his burial. Now, flags also on all federal buildings, including at the Capitol building, as well as here at the White House. They will be at half staff for the next 30 days, which will take us through incoming President Trump's inauguration. So they will remain that way even on his inauguration day, Nichole.
You know, and Kelly, his death comes just a few weeks before President-elect Trump will take the oath of office for a second time. And then, of course, this Friday, Republicans will become the majority on Capitol Hill. That's when the new Congress is sworn in. So how are those two major changes impacting the remembrances that we've seen so far, and then what we'll see in the coming days?
Yeah, so we know that Congress will be coming back here. We also have, of course, the holiday, so that is kind of pushing things back a bit before the official remembrances. As we said, those 8 days of services can begin. But we do know members of Congress will be sworn in there on Friday, and then more of the events will happen here in Washington, D.C. in the days following. We saw President Biden, as you can see in photos there on your screen, spoke last night in rare remarks from the U.S. Virgin Islands, where he is on vacation, to speak about his friendship with the former president. That goes back decades, really. They've known each other, they say, for 50 years. And he spoke about his endorsement of Carter when he was running for president. Biden was then senator and the first member of Congress to endorse him. I believe we have a bit of that sound to play for you here, Nichole. Take a listen.
When I endorsed him for president, I told him why I was endorsing him, and that it was not only his policies, but his character, his decency, the honor he communicated to everyone.
And of course, we heard from incoming President Donald Trump, as well as other former presidents, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, all expected to be here for his funeral, which would be another rare sighting to see all of those former presidents and the incoming president together, potentially all together for that funeral service on January 9th. Nichole.
All right, Kelly Meyer live for us there in Washington. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.